10 years. So it's like,
Oh.
it does make it really easy. Like we just all know each other and each other's.
She's seeing all the things I'm saying about her behind her back. The tension rises all over again, and then you have to wait more.
In a dramatic opening, Macy introduces the shocking news that Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker have reached a breaking point in their tumultuous relationship. The narrator explains that what once seemed like Hollywood's most enviable and captivating punk rock romance has now crumbled irreparably.
It was messy. And then I talked to Johnny, he's like, yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. And I was just getting ready to text her.
We are taken through the early days when their love story was celebrated as nothing short of a modern fairy tale, a whirlwind romance that captured the public's imagination. The video recounts how their journey began with Travis's unforgettable beach proposal in Monteo, California, an event that symbolized the union of two worlds and the blending of families. Despite the picturesque beginnings and a seemingly perfect merger of lives, the underlying tension soon started to surface. Macy's tone shifts as she describes how what was initially a dazzling romance devolved into an emotionally charged conflict marked by distrust and betrayal. In vivid detail, the narrator paints a picture of Courtney's heartbreak, explaining that she invested her all in salvaging the relationship, yet found herself caught in a relentless storm of deceit and infidelity. The emotional gravity of the ER situation is accentuated by Macy's choice of words, portraying a scene where love and trust were shattered beyond repair, setting the stage for the devastating announcement of their divorce. The narration emphasizes how this revelation sent shockwaves through the Kardashian world and the celebrity landscape at large, forcing viewers to confront the harsh reality behind the glitz and glamour. The dramatic tone is maintained throughout, inviting the audience to witness the slow disintegration of a relationship that many once admired from afar. As the narrative unfolds, the video takes us back to the origins of what appeared to be a fairy tale romance between Courtney and Travis. The narrator recounts how the couple's relationship captured the public's attention almost immediately, igniting a buzz that spread like wildfire through Hollywood. Viewers are guided through the early days of their courtship when every public appearance and social media post radiated the intensity of their affection. The narration vividly illustrates the excitement of their union, detailing how their swift move from dating to engagement was reminiscent of a romantic film script, full of passion, spontaneity, and a shared vision of a happy future. Yet, as the narrator reveals, beneath this veneer of bliss lay hidden tensions and cracks waiting to be exposed. The video describes the couple's early celebrations, such as multiple weddings and family gatherings, which initially symbolized unity and mutual commitment. However, it also hints at the subtle undercurrents of discord that were already beginning to erode the foundations of their bond. The narrator describes how, despite the external celebrations and public displays of love, there were private moments of uncertainty and conflict that foreshadowed the coming storm. Through a careful juxtaposition of glitzy public events and the underlying personal struggles, the narrator creates a compelling narrative that explains how even the most picturesque relationships can harbor deep-seated issues, ultimately leading to heartbreak. The detailed description leaves the viewer with an understanding of how rapidly a story that once promised eternal happiness could descend into chaos and despair. In a pivotal segment of the video, the narrator delves into Travis Barker's long-standing history of infidelity, a dark secret that would prove to be the cornerstone of the couple's unraveling relationship. The narration is both measured and unflinching, recounting how Travis's past was marred by multiple instances of betrayal that spanned several relationships. Viewers learn that his track record of cheating was not a one-off occurrence, but a pattern of behavior that included affairs with as many as 13 different women during his previous marriage, a statistic that shocks and appalls the audience. The narrator explains how Travis had been open about his past indiscretions, even admitting to infidelity during his earlier marriage to Melissa Kennedy. This history of unfaithfulness laid a precarious foundation for his relationship with Courtney, who entered the union with a heart full of hope and a willingness to overlook past mistakes. However, the video makes it clear that such revelations had a corrosive effect on the trust that should have been the bedrock of their marriage? As the narrator weaves through these details, there is a palpable sense of inevitability, a forewarning that the secrets of the past were destined to resurface and cast a long shadow over the couple's future. The narrative powerfully conveys how repeated betrayals and broken promises can destabilize even the most passionate of relationships, leaving behind a trail of emotional devastation that ultimately sets the stage for the impending collapse of the marriage. The narrative takes an even more explosive turn as it exposes the scandalous affair between Travis Barker and Kim Kardashian, a revelation that served as the catalyst for the ultimate disintegration of Kourtney and Travis's union. The narrator describes the moment when allegations of an illicit romance first emerged, detailing how Travis's ex-wife, Shauna, dropped bombshell claims of an affair with none other than Kim Kardashian during his marriage to Courtney. The video is punctuated with an atmosphere of disbelief and shock as the narrator explains how these accusations added a new layer of betrayal to an already volatile situation. In a tone filled with intensity, the narration recounts how Kim eventually admitted to the affair during a heated family confrontation, a confession that was as dramatic as it was controversial. The narrator emphasizes that Kim's admission was not a mere slip of the tongue. It was a calculated disclosure that appeared designed to provoke and wound Courtney deeply. The narrative further details the context in which this revelation occurred, describing how the intimate details of a seemingly innocent movie night turned into a full-blown scandal. The video illustrates the shock and heartbreak of Courtney, who had long suspected issues in the marriage but was unprepared for such a public and painful betrayal. This segment is rich with the tension of a family drama unfolding in real time, and the narrator's descriptive language ensures that viewers grasp the full emotional impact of Kim's role in the scandal, setting the stage for the irreversible breakdown of trust between Courtney and Travis. Following the explosive revelations of infidelity, the narrator guides the audience through the immediate aftermath, focusing on the emotional turmoil experienced by Courtney. In a compelling and empathetic narrative, the video shows how Courtney, already aware of Travis's problematic history, was pushed to the brink by the new evidence of his betrayal. The narrator recounts how, after days of isolation and internal conflict, Courtney decided that she needed to confront the painful reality of her situation. The video depicts a moment of intense vulnerability where Courtney, seeking to find clarity amidst the chaos, went to the extent of checking Travis's phone, a decision that would reveal the undeniable proof of his disloyalty. The narrator describes in painstaking detail the discovery of messages from an unknown woman, a moment that confirmed Courtney's worst fears and shattered any remaining illusions of fidelity. This discovery is painted as a turning point in the narrative, a moment when the accumulated pain and disappointment reached a crescendo. The narration conveys the sense of betrayal that Courtney felt, emphasizing that her reaction was not just a moment of anger, but a culmination of years of emotional strain and mounting suspicions. The vivid description of this confrontation, with its raw emotions and stark realizations, serves as a powerful turning point in the video, marking the point of no return in their deteriorating relationship. Viewers are left with a sense of tragic inevitability, as the narrative illustrates how a once promising union could be irreparably damaged by repeated acts of betrayal and dishonesty. In a tense and emotionally charged segment, the narrator delves into the moments following Courtney's discovery of Travis's questionable messages, highlighting how this breach of trust exacerbated the already fragile state of their marriage. The narrative describes how, after uncovering the explicit messages that debunked Travis's claims of work-related communication, Courtney confronted him with the damning evidence. The narrator's tone is laden with the sorrow and frustration of a woman pushed to her limits, as she realized that every promise of loyalty had been tainted by deception. The video details how, rather than offering a meaningful explanation or a heartfelt apology, Travis shockingly responded by expressing a sudden and unyielding desire for divorce. This revelation is depicted as a profound betrayal, where not only were Courtney's emotions invalidated, but her attempts to salvage the relationship were met with cold indifference. The narrator recounts how this abrupt decision from Travis left Courtney reeling, adding another layer of betrayal to a situation that was already riddled with dishonesty and pain. The description is thorough and poignant, capturing the internal conflict Courtney faced as she grappled with the reality of her crumbling marriage. The narrator paints a picture of a woman whose trust had been irrevocably broken, leading her to question everything about the relationship and the people she once believed in. This segment of the video is a heart-wrenching exploration of how betrayal, once fully uncovered, leaves behind a void that cannot be filled by apologies or regret. The narrative shifts to the profound impact that Travis's actions and the ensuing revelations had on the broader family dynamics within the Kardashian-Jenner clan. The narrator describes in vivid detail how the scandal not only fractured the marital bond between Courtney and Travis, but also sowed discord within the extended family. The video highlights how the tension between Courtney and Kim Kardashian escalated into open hostility, with the former feeling repeatedly undermined and betrayed by someone she once considered family. The narrator explains that the drama was compounded by the involvement of other family members, notably Kris Jenner, whose actions were seen as enabling and exacerbating the conflict. The video provides a nuanced look at how familial loyalty and public image clashed with personal pain as Courtney found herself isolated and unsupported in her hour of need. The narrative details instances where Kris Jenner's behavior, prioritizing media attention over genuine care, further alienated Courtney, deepening the fissures within the family. Each word the narrator uses is imbued with a sense of loss and betrayal, as the viewer is invited to witness the unraveling of what was once a tightly knit family unit. The tension is palpable as the narrative explores how the ongoing drama and relentless public scrutiny have forced each family member to take sides, leaving behind scars that may be impossible to heal. The video captures this emotional turmoil in rich detail, ensuring that the viewer understands the far-reaching consequences of personal betrayal on family relationships and the collective psyche of the Kardashian-Jenner clan. In this next segment, the narrator focuses on the personal struggles that Courtney faced amid the chaos of her crumbling marriage, emphasizing the profound toll that the constant drama took on her emotional and physical well-being. The video depicts Courtney not only as a victim of betrayal, but as a resilient woman caught in the crossfire of public scandal and private heartbreak. The narrator explains that Courtney's personal life was further complicated by her journey through pregnancy, a period that was already fraught with emotional challenges and the pain of past medical struggles. The narrative paints a detailed picture of Courtney's vulnerability during this time, as she navigated the overwhelming pressures of maintaining a semblance of normalcy while enduring relentless family interference and public scrutiny. The description delves into the myriad ways in which the ongoing infidelity, compounded by Kim Kardashian's provocative actions and the enabling role of other family members, created an environment where Courtney felt increasingly isolated and overwhelmed. The narrator's account is both empathetic and raw, as she conveys the immense inner strength required for Courtney to face these challenges head-on. The video leaves no doubt that every personal setback, every moment of self-doubt, every instance of emotional neglect was amplified by the incessant drama surrounding her marriage. The narrative ultimately frames Courtney's struggle as a battle for self-preservation, where she is forced to reconcile her love for her family with the harsh reality of betrayal, ultimately leading her to seek solace and strength in the face of overwhelming adversity. The narrator now turns to the decisive moment when the culmination of years of betrayal, family conflict, and personal heartache compelled Courtney to take the final, irrevocable step of filing for divorce. The video captures this turning point, with a blend of somber reflection and resolute determination, as the narrator recounts how Courtney, after a long period of introspection and emotional turmoil, recognized that her well-being must come first. In a detailed account, the narrator describes how the relentless cycle of confrontations, infidelity revelations, and the constant specter of familial drama pushed Courtney to a breaking point. The video shows that despite her initial attempts to reconcile and rebuild the relationship, the accumulation of repeated betrayals proved too overwhelming. The narrative details the pivotal conversation between Courtney and Travis, where, in a moment of heated frustration and despair, Courtney suggested that perhaps it was best to end their tumultuous union. Shockingly, Travis agreed almost immediately to file for divorce, a decision that was portrayed not as a moment of reluctant acceptance, but as a clear indication that he had already lost interest in salvaging the marriage. The narrator's tone is both reflective and resolute, capturing the painful realization that some wounds are too deep to heal. This moment, laden with regret and sorrow, is depicted as the final chapter in a relationship that had once held so much promise. The viewer is left with a sense of tragic inevitability, as Courtney's brave decision to seek a fresh start is portrayed as both an act of self-preservation and a repudiation of the toxic dynamics that had long defined her life. Every detail is rendered with the gravity and emotional depth that underscores the significance of this watershed moment. In the concluding segment, the narrator summarizes the long-term implications of the divorce and the shifting dynamics within the Kardashian-Jenner family, casting a reflective gaze over the future of all involved. The video's narration shifts to a tone of cautious optimism mixed with a poignant acknowledgement of the lasting impact of the drama. The narrator explains that, in the aftermath of the divorce, Courtney has emerged as a figure determined to reclaim her personal autonomy and create firm boundaries with her family. The narrative paints a picture of a woman who, despite the relentless barrage of betrayal and familial manipulation, is now channeling her energy into forging a path of independence and self-respect. The video captures the essence of Courtney's transformation as she begins to prioritize her emotional well-being over the toxic legacy of past relationships. The narrator emphasizes that while the wounds inflicted by years of public scandal and private hurt may take time to heal, Courtney's decision to end her marriage represents a crucial turning point in her journey towards self-empowerment. The narration also touches on the broader implications for the Kardashian-Jenner family, noting that the deep-seated divisions and conflicts that have come to light are likely to have long-term repercussions on their public image and private relationships. The viewer is left with the impression that although the road ahead may be fraught with challenges, Courtney's resolve to protect her future and the future of her new baby is unwavering. This final point is a reflective yet defiant closing note in the narrative, as the story of heartbreak and betrayal gives way to the promise of new beginnings, underscoring the enduring resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming adversity. 3 Mini.